Well, Gina, thank you for coming to the Conococheague Institute today. Welcome. It's good to see you again.
You too. Thanks for inviting us.
And Kayla?
Yep, that's me.
And so I heard from the last video that Gina and I did together your wonderful submission for the Sea Shanty. So thank you so much for taking part.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun to film virtually with Gina. It was much more rewarding to have someone kind of give their own two pieces.
That was a little hard actually because I had to like make all the sound effects for it too. So
It sounded wonderful.
It was awesome.
Yeah. And for me it was nice because I'm usually just singing by myself. So to have people singing with me, good stuff.
all me singing, all me together. Listen, who needs a chorus when you got all the voices in your head?
Exactly, you just got to repeat. Well, so I know why Gina reached out to me. Gina is a teen librarian, and so getting people involved in literacy works with our mission here at the Conococheague Institute, which is the historical and cultural resources we have. But why did you submit your entry for the Sea Shanty video?
Mostly because I thought it'd be fun, but also because I wanted to explore my capabilities as a upcoming voice actor. Like doing accents is a little hard for me, so I was trying, if you heard some of the voices in the background had a bit of an accent, but they're not that good, but you know, just trying to explore with that.
Okay. So where are you from?
I am from all over, but I guess I could say I'm from Puerto Rico for the most part.
Okay, and Gina, for yourself?
I grew up in Northern Virginia, and my whole family and relatives are from Lancaster County.
Okay. Well, of course, I work in Franklin County, Pennsylvania now here, but I'm not a Pennsylvanian. I know, shocking. So I'm a British citizen. I've lived here for 10 years now, yes. And my parents say I sound wholly American. So you said you're interested in accents. My accent has changed dramatically just from living and working here in Pennsylvania. So accents are a thing that change.
So I'm just wondering, how would people have sounded back in the 18th century here?
Okay, so here specifically, this was Welsh run. We know the farmer here, John Davis and Philip Davis, were Welsh. So they are going to sound 100% Welsh. John Davis was a second generation Welshman, so he had been here for 2 generations. And so he's still going to have his Welsh dialect because he was brought up amongst his Welsh family, even if it was in Philadelphia as opposed to in Wales.
Cool.
The Welsh accent's a sing-song accent. In the middle of the words, they often stretch out a letter. And so it's a very musical accent, and it's kind of hard to imitate.
I do love music.
There you go. There can be German people who live in this area who have German accents. In the 18th century, the accents are going to be on where they came from. So a lot of people like to imagine that everyone in the colonies prior to Revolution spoke like a proper Englishman, and that's simply not the case. That 19th century Victorian English, the Queen's English, where everyone was taught to have the proper dialect, was a modern thing. Before that, every county, which is our kind of version of the states, and even towns, all had their kind of micro accents, their micro dialects. So someone from Wiltshire, like me, or 5 miles from Stonehenge in Salisbury, it's a rural area, we say summer rather than summer, and we say oi rather than oi, and we put all vowels and consonants all over the place.
This is so cool.
That's going to sound very different to someone from Lancashire, or Cheshire, or Liverpool. So when you ask the question what they sound like here, it all depended where they came from. There's also a chance that the accents may not even be noticeable to us. If we read the writing in the 18th century, we can read the writing by maybe a few words which have fallen out of our vocabulary. So if you travel right now back to 18th century America, 100% you would understand what people are saying. It's just they might think you're from a different town or a different county. They're still speaking the same language.
You're an outsider.
You're an outsider, yes, yeah. For me, if I was speaking in the BBC English, they might think I was a spy.
Oh no!
I'm trying too hard. So yeah, there is that as well.
I remember reading that, like the BBC English, like when people started saying bath instead of bath and so on, was like a fashion thing in the late 1700s.
So
it was introduced.
The long A, like bath rather than bath, is a southern thing, and it is a fashionable thing. But it really wasn't until the 19th century that long Britishness came about.
When it really caught on.
We are in a time right now when accents are disappearing. My niece can do a very convincing American accent because she watches American cartoons. There are people like yourself, Kayla, who watch so much YouTubers, they can do a better accent without even traveling overseas just by immersing themselves in other people that don't do those voice accents. So technology is great because people like you can develop new ways of speaking. It's bad on the whole because people are losing their regionalism. So just like in Victorian England, when everyone was trying to be made to speak one way, today we're all pretty much sounding American in the whole world. For me, in doing accents, one of the best ways to do it is to immerse yourself. So by reading 18th century poems, by singing 18th century songs, you can really feel how the words would sound, because in songs and poems they rhyme. So it's not reading the word as you might see it, as someone who can read English language, but how it's written to make sure it rhymes with the next word. So music and poems are a great way to understand how things were spoken.
And we're going to read some of those today, right?
I would love to read and maybe even sing again, seeing as you are both Sea Shanty veterans. But for me, if we're going to be singing or speaking 18th century, we should look 18th century. So, let's just... a
Where
colonial...
are my shoes?
I didn't have shoes in your size, I apologize.
Why do you have the magic fingers?
My sight, my rules. So yes, it's both that have now company in a colonial fashion. Here at the Conococheague Institute, we often dress in period clothing to better portray the lifestyle, whether that's cooking, gardening, or talking and doing accents. In this state of clothes, this isn't the right accent for me, as I already said, because these were rural farming folk, and my accent today is not a rural farming accent. So, and your accents, of course, are not rural farming accents yourselves. So whether you're doing a 18th century rural or a 21st century rural, like voice acting Kayla, one of the best things you can do to affect a rural accent is to simplify your accents. Throughout history, the farming style has always been conceived as the lower educated, because they are the people who have to work every day rather than going to school. And so in England we say, oh, he's a proper ooh-ahrer, isn't he? Which means he's a farmer, doesn't know how to speak properly, and he ooh-ahers everything. You might get that kind of feel from pirate talk, because pirates in popular culture and films today all come from this 1950s opinion of this West Country pirate. So, ooh-ahrer, shiver me timbers, that's a lovely cat you got there, Miss Kayla. It's just the same as if I said
Thank
it.
you, Mr. Wedd.
Exactly. If I didn't say it in pirate accent, ooh, it's a lovely cat you got there, Miss Kayla.
Well, thank you, Mr. Wedd.
So yeah, so pirate, rural, not so different. So if you couldn't do anything else, speak like a pirate day, you're now speaking like a farmer day.
Speak like a pirate.
There's an actual
Speak
Talk
like a
Like a
farmer.
Pirate Day. It's in September.
Yeah, there's a Talk Like a Pirate Day.
Maybe you can come back and wear these clothes on Talk Like a Pirate Day, and we can talk pirates.
We're actually doing the right thing.
Yeah. Back to dialect though, it's not just about simplifying things, squeezing words together, sometimes taking out some of the middle parts, so beginning. So just shortening things is a simplified dialect. In some areas, like Wiltshire, where I'm from, the very sounds of letters are said differently. So S's become Z's. So it's a lovely summer's day today. It's a lovely summer's day today.
Lovely
Summer's day. It's a lovely summer's day.
Lovely summer's day.
So letters can change, and then also in the 18th century, there's the different way of speaking itself. So it is a lovely day comes 'tis a lovely day.
Tis a lovely day.
It were a good program. Twere a good program we did today.
You could say that one.
We're a good program we did today.
There you go.
Twerk were.
So yeah, twerk.
Was that even proper?
Twerk were, yeah, twerk were.
Really? Yeah.
I'm learning! Guys, I'm learning!
So nothing to do with practice, and also repetition. So you might think of it as Yoda, but give us all a good cider. I love it, I do. I love it, I do.
I love it, I do.
I love me a good cider, I
I
do.
love it, I do.
So you can do that for pretty much anything. So just however you start a sentence, you kind of end it too. So
Give me a cider. I love me a good cider, I do.
there you go. I love me a good cider, I do. And so yeah, so that repetition, the simplifying of words, the changing of some of the vowels and consonants is a great way to have a convincing accent.
You can take this back. I don't want it to be. I don't
Oh,
want it
I
to
love me a good cider, I do.
Oh my gosh, that was awesome!
Awesome, not a great 18th century
Got
word.
it.
That was proper good, Miss Vitale.
Learn.
That was
Again,
a proper good
I
cider.
get
There was a proper good impression you did there. So it's awesome. That's proper good. That is.
that was a proper good impression you did right there.
No, I don't know about
Why,
Irish.
thank you, Miss
Proper good
Kayla.
impression.
You were a little Irish, but like
Little Irish?
That's
That's
proper
fair.
good.
And my hat is askew.
Well, that's proper good. That is proper good.
That's proper good.
Not very proper.
All right. So we're getting there. We're starting to flow a little bit more. So as I was saying earlier, poetry and songs are a great way to learn this because your mind, when it sees a word, will try and say how you've been taught it in school. But if you're reading things written in songs, your mind will react as it should be, which is to rhyme it. And so through reading a song, we might be able to learn how sounds sounded without how we think it should sound. So I have a song that is from my rural Wiltshire in the 18th century, and it's all about turnip hoeing, or turnip hoeing, which is the farming of turnips.
Farming the turnips.
And
Popular vegetable in the root.
This is the height of excitement.
the tavern we're in right now, we actually have a sign outside. It's the sign of the fly on the turnip, which is the sign of the fly on the turnip, because this song is called the fly on the turnip. I should say as well in rural England, F's become V's, so fly,
Vloy.
farmer,
Varmer.
farmer.
Farmer.
So yeah, so you've got your F's becoming
Did
V's.
the N become an
You've got
M?
your Z's becoming S, lots of flipping around. Anyway,
Got it.
you've got the lyrics. You've spent 5 minutes with me absorbing my accent, which is what every good voice actor does, they absorb. So we'll try singing this song, we will. And then after we've sung this song, we should have a proper conversation without any words, oh, shouldn't we?
Oh, I think we should.
Oi, oi, oi. Alright, Dad. We're on a jolly summer's day, the 21st of May. John Scroggins took his termito with Vicky trudged away. Now some folks they like haymaking and some they fancies mowing. Of all the jobs as I like best, give I the termitoing. The fly, the fly, the fly beyond the termit, 'tis only I for I to try to keep fly off the termit. And cut, stop.
Alright.
So you did that pretty well. Try and read that out loud in your standard, proper American accent.
Wait, what?
Translate it, Gina, into American, just speak it.
It was on a jolly summer's day, the 21st of May. John Scroggins took his turnip hoe, with it he trudged away. Now some folks they like haymaking, and some they fancy mowing. But of all the jobs that I like best, give me the turnip hoeing.
So even there, Gina changed give oi to give me, because we know how we should speak properly, and a library is all about learning to speak properly. But in this case, we're kind of doing the opposite. We're anti-educating, right? But yeah, it made sense. It's about a farmer who is keeping flies from his turnip. All right, you want to carry on singing the rest of it, seeing you guys practice so well?
Sure.
Okay.
So do you want to go from the top, or you want to start from the verse we just finished
Let's
on?
start on the verse we just finished.
All right.
The
The first place as I went to work, it were with Farmer Gower, who vowed and swore as how I were a first-rate turnip hoer. The second place I went to work, they paid I by the job, but if I'd known a little afore, I'd soon have been in quad. The fly, the fly, the fly beyond the turnip, 'tis only I for I to try to keep fly off the turnip. The last place as I went to work, they sent for I am mowing. I sent word back I'd sooner take a sack than give a turnip hoeing. Now all you jolly farmer chaps, what boys at home so warm, I'll now conclude my ditty with a wishing you no harm. The fly, the fly, the fly beyond the turnip, 'tis only I for I to try to keep fly off the turnip. Not bad at all. Now, you think you could talk like that all day then?
I'm supposing I could.
I suppose you could. You kept reading stuff and you kept talking to people in rural dialect. I don't doubt, do I, that you would have a proper rural accent in no time.
A proper rural. If only I wasn't so tongue-tied if I was.
Right.
I'm thinking it's time we owed some termites.
Yeah.
We can go out back and
You're
It's-
losing it, you mean.
I'm-
What I'll say to you...
It's time
Just
we
a little-
owed some proper termites.
It's time we owed some proper termites. I'm just a little tongue-tied.
Right, so what I'll say, Gina, is, and Kayla, you both know lots of other people. So why don't you gather your people together, your team librarians, and practice dialect.
We'll just speak to them on this all the time.
And yeah, and through practice, you might get some people send you videos, and you can talk back to them, or you can meet in person, and through practice, you could just absorb it together. And then maybe if you're doing a voice acting, Kayla, and you are having to portray Hobbit 6 in the next Lord of the Rings TV miniseries, you'd have a proper accent, you would, wouldn't you, for an Hobbit?
I'd have a proper accent for an Hobbit. In
Um,
one of these days, with enough practice, I will have a proper accent for an Hobbit.
For an Hobbit.
For an Hobbit.
Because there's another thing, dropping H's, really good way to sound rural. So yeah.
And our next program will be all about proper turnip hoeing.
You want to get in that garden there with
Proper
turnip hoe?
turnip hoeing.
Proper
So
turnip hoeing.
We
We're going to
do
take you
have-
all out to the back and do some proper
We
turnip
do, have
hoeing.
we do have a proper garden over there. We have turnips. Right now we have way too many turnips. So if you want to come out today, tomorrow, next week, and grab some turnips, you're welcome to them. We have a community garden. And Gina, Kayla, if you want to come out and do more programs, please just let me know. I'm always here to help.
Any time. Any of the days.
Thanks for
Of the
inviting
summer.
us.
Any days of the summer.
Thank you for coming here today.
Thank you for having us.
And keep them flies off your turnips.
Keep the flies off the turnips! Not on my my gaming!
Or on my pasty.
Not my pasty, not my body, they can't have it!
Nope. Bye.
Good enough for government work, right?
Good enough for government work.